Good morning, Floss Tube. It's Julie at Reflections Framing and Stitching. Today is Sunday, the 17th of June. It's hot and humid and windy out there. Dan's going to the College World Series game this evening. Thank God it's not the one in the afternoon. I don't think he'd make it. But he's going this afternoon with Abby, and Travis, I think, is going also. Welcome if you're new to my channel. Welcome back if you've been here before and are returning. I appreciate it. I have a lot to cover today. I have stuff literally everywhere. Let's get to it. I want to thank everyone for their compliments on the new hairdo. Still kind of getting used to it. I'm not cold like I was when I first got it cut, but then it's been 100 degrees out for almost every day. So it's kind of nice to have the short hair when it's that warm out. But thank you for saying it looks good. I'm still undecided as to whether I really like it or not. Also, I had quite a few comments on my retreat piece. I want to thank you for your kind comments on that. I've had several people ask if I was going to release that, which I had actually considered. So I did kind of an impromptu poll with the customers here to see, you know, what would they be willing to pay for not the dome. I didn't want to get into having to mail that dome out, but for the fabric and the floss and the little snowman and the little wood piece and the cardinal and the beads and stuff, and almost everyone I asked gave me a price that was right at what I paid for everything. So I'd kind of decided that maybe that wouldn't be a good idea to release it. But I've had several people complain, not really complain, but groan because I wasn't going to. So what I've decided is, if you're interested, and again, it would not include the dome. It would be the snowman figurine, the cardinal figurine, the wood base that they're on, the polka dot fabric, which is 32 count linen, the overdyed threads that you would need. I probably would not include the DMC because most of you have DMC, and then the Mill Hill beads that you need for the snowflakes. Yeah, if you're interested, that is what the kit would include, and I would have to sell that for a $55 price tag. So if you're interested, send me an email, Julie at reflections-framing.com. I'll put you on a list. If I get enough people interested, then I will go ahead and work on releasing that. I'm also working on a new design that would fit in the same thing, only this time it's a barn theme, and it's kind of turning out cute. So anyway, that's the story on the retreat piece. Again, I thank you all for liking my project. I was pretty proud of it, but I still wasn't sure people would like it, so thank you. Next bit of news. I've had a couple visitors from Floss Tube Land. Darlene, you probably know her. She doesn't do Floss Tube videos, but she shows up in oh God, Pretty Southern Joe. shows up in her videos every once in a while when she's at Acorns and Threads. She was here in town visiting her friend, Mary Lynn, I think her name is, and they stopped into the shop and spent some time with me, and then Kathleen from Kathleen's Trodden Trails, and Giselle. I don't think Giselle makes videos either. I think she just watches them and comments. They met up and had a nice little visit, and it was really nice getting to know Darlene in person. She always comments on my videos, and I really appreciate that. She's a lovely woman, and it was kind of like sitting down with someone that you've known for a long time. Conversation was just really easy. So that was nice. I enjoyed her visit. Had a couple others stop in also. And unfortunately, I keep forgetting to write people's names down, so it's not that I didn't appreciate your visit. I did. I just always mean to write your name down so I'll remember who you are, but I never remember, and I apologize for that. Let's see, another comment I had on my last video was regarding the quilts from Long Dog. I was talking about the fussy, I don't know, is it a flying geese pattern in the border? And I know myself, you're changing floss every 8 stitches, and so I was talking about just leaving that off. And a couple ladies, Lori Yu and Organic Granny, both suggested possibly using a variegated floss. Duh, what an excellent idea, and why didn't I think of that? So I've been keeping my eye open. I'm looking at the floss wall for something that I think would work, but I haven't moved on that suggestion because of, well, it's Joe's fault from Pretty Southern. It's her fault I haven't done anything but stitch on one project because she showed that awesome video of keepsakes, and it went on and on showing all those beautiful models, and I was just in awe of that shop, and I haven't even stepped foot in it yet. And then I started looking at mine, and I'm like, ooh, my store sucks. I am lacking in models. So I decided maybe I better quit flitting from project to project and start trying to concentrate on getting something done. So I've been working almost exclusively on one piece since that time, since I watched that video. It was a great video. So were the ones she did with Steph from Just Keep Stitching. Those were hilarious. Enjoyed watching them a lot. But I need to get some more models on the wall. Thinking to myself what a disappointment it would be if you've been to Keepsakes and then you came here and be like, wow, disappointing. So I'm going to work on that. I'm going to try and work on that. I conned a couple of people into stitching something for the wall. So hopefully they're faster than I am and we'll get it done quickly. And let's see, what else do I know? Oh, it appears that a lot of you have LOLP. Glad I'm not the only one out there. You know, with this new monogamous stitching thing that I'm doing, it's not helping my LOLP any, because everything that I want to stitch is huge. In fact, I have 2 large pieces sitting here that are kitted up and waiting for me to start them, and I'm like, no. No means no. You must finish something first. So there's that. I'm enjoying everyone who's doing the tag from Emily C's tag. That's been kind of fun to listen to. And let's see, if I get time, if this doesn't go forever and ever and ever, then I might try and answer some of those. I have a couple of amusing stories that would fit in with that, so we'll see how quickly I whip through the rest of this. I think that's all the updates I have. The family's all fine. Dan is doing well. It's Father's Day today, and I gave him a new grill. The man has a terrible time with grills. According to him, they never heat up for him. So this time I had Adam put it together, because I'm thinking it's something Dan does when he puts them together, because I don't know any other man that has a problem with their grill like Dan does. So I had Adam put it together, because Adam will actually read the directions, and Dan doesn't always do that. So we'll see. We tried it for the first time last night. Still seemed to take him forever to cook a hot dog, like 45 minutes. So, and I know the grill works because Adam tried it out. So maybe it's a Dan thing and not a grill thing. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, everyone in the family is doing well. So let's just jump in with, I've got a couple of customer finishes to show you that I thought you might enjoy seeing, so I'm going to start there. This first one is Garden Cat from Satsuma Street, and it's on a fabric by Stephanie, Stardust, I think is what it's called. This is the Ada version of it. Let's see. Yeah, it's better this way, I guess. You can see the floss wall in the reflection. But isn't that cute? The colors are beautiful. Love it on that Stardust fabric. She's using the Ada, and it turned out really cute. And she'll be really happy when I call her now. These have been, well, that one has been done for a couple of days, but I didn't call her because I wanted to show it to you. This is I believe, Tron thread. I think it might be Welcome Spring. Bring it a little closer. And I don't, it looks like it's done on an even weave, probably mushroom or wheat, maybe. But it turned out really cute. I like the green frame on it. I don't know if you can tell that it's green. It's not brown. It's got kind of an aged look to it. Little holes in it to make it look old. And last but not least, I believe this is called Garden of Skulls. It's done with a single thread color on linen. It almost looks like cocoa. And then her frame, it looks like it's all black, but there's actually, I don't know if you can see, but there's red peeking through on the edges of it. So, but I really like that one too. I saw a frame molding that had skulls on it, and I've been trying to track down who the molding company is that carries that, and so far I haven't been able to do that. So if anyone out there knows who does that, please let me know, because Cher would really like to have that for another piece that she's doing. Let's see. Maybe we'll go into what's new at the shop. Start with this one. Tickled my funny bone, which isn't always easy to do. I don't necessarily find things funny that everyone else finds funny, but this one made me smile when I saw it, so I decided it needed to be kitted up, and one of my customers, Mary, is going to stitch it up for me. So it's I'm just here for the booze, which I absolutely love. I'm going to have her stitch it without the border, though. So it should stitch up fairly quickly, and I chose fabric by Stephanie. Slice of Lime, I think, is what this is called. And it has the pretty variegation. No, maybe this will help a little bit. So it's a really, it's not showing up as bright on the screen, but it's a very bright green. And it'll look beautiful with the DMCs that are called for, because it does call for DMC. So that's new and adorable. I also got in from Whispered by the Wind, and they've kind of blown out. This is about the only one that was new that I have left. It's called Moonset. It's got the owls on it. She's got one very similar. It's called Moonrise. Doesn't have the owls. It has, I think, just the crows. But I think that's really cute. Very Halloween-y. Calls for 28 count Mirage Lugana from Picture This Plus, which I don't happen to have. I have had in the past, but do not have right now. But I think a person could do Alchemy from Picture This Plus, which is more blue than gray. But I think the colors would show up pretty good on there. And if you didn't like the blue, you could do Dapple, also from Picture This Plus. It's a darker dappled gray. There. So they'd show up really well on there also. I think that would look good. Okay, so that's Moonset. I got the new ones from With a Needle and Thread, and I've pulled some fabric and floss for some of them, if not all of them. Queen of the Needle. And it calls for 40 count antique cotton R&R. I don't happen to have that. And just a second, I'm looking for eggshell, which is I don't have the eggshell, which it calls for the floss. I've only had one skein left, and I think I've got it laying with a different project. But so just know that eggshell is missing from this group of. So this is espresso, no, French vanilla, 40 count French vanilla. Which I thought would look good with all the colors. And there's a lot of colors in that thing. It is not a huge piece, but she managed to pack in a bunch of colors, which I will probably drop all of them when I hold this up again, but I'll try not to. Aren't they pretty? Fabric is kind of washed out in this, on my screen anyway. But I think kind of any buttery color, beigey, you want to make sure you get something that this perfect pie crust will show up on. Because otherwise that could be a problem. I think I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. So there's that piece. It's very cute. Last look at it. Very cute. Queen of the Needle. It's going to take me hours to clean up my mess. Anyone wants to come over and help, feel free. Okay. What do I have next? The strawberries and stripes, also with the needle. She's doing this series, and it's a peat. It's a Jiffy Pot's peat pot. Says they're available at Walmart. And she tells you how to put it all together. That's really cute. And you would think, I mean, the thing stitched up, it's 47 by 48. But it uses a bajillion colors. Calls for Weeks Dye Works linen in the color linen, which looks like that. Maybe if I sit forward. There's the eggshell. There's no way I'm going to be able to hold all of these up. So, but you can get an idea of what the colors will look like on here. Thank God God gave me a big chest, right? I'd never be able to do that. So those are the colors. There's a lot of them. I think also, again, you could use like a buttercream color, as long as the ginger snap showed up on it. And you want to make sure you go somewhat dark, because otherwise this won't show up. That one's really cute. I like it a lot. But it reminds me of, what does it remind me of? One of her other small pieces. I can't think of the name of it right now, but it does remind me of that. Okay, and her last new release, Farmyard Parade, And remember, she had said back at market time that these guys would be showing up in future charts. So here they are again, this time in a more patriotic theme. I really like the little geese. Aren't they cute? There's like 3 of them. A little chicken sitting in the basket and one on the handle. Very cute. I did discover when I was pulling the flosses, in case you haven't discovered it, it says that you need freedom. I don't know if that's showing up correctly for you or not, but right there says freedom. That number, as far as I know, Weeks doesn't have a floss called freedom. That number corresponds with the color Fathom. So keep that in mind when you're looking, because you're going to need Fathom, not freedom. And I had to substitute when I pulled the colors. What did I substitute? Parchment with hazelnuts. Maybe I didn't. Maybe this was for something else. Okay, well, and again, I don't have all the colors pulled because they're in with other things, and I don't want to take time to do that. But it calls for 40 count Confederate gray. Grits, beige, dolphin, Fathom, deep sea, nutmeg, wood rose, parchment, toasted barley, wood trail, endive, chili pepper, hickory sticks, perfect pie crust, and hazelnut are all the colors that you're going to need for these. They're cute. Go out and get those ASAP. Kathy from Hands On Design. This is a saying that everyone in Nebraska is very familiar with, probably in other parts of the country too. Iowa for sure. Knee high on the 4th of July, referring to the height of the corn. Travis and Abby came into town Friday to start the College World Series festivities. It's a big thing for them. They tailgate the entire weekend. Well, Abby does. I don't think Travis is as into it as Abby does. She meets people from, she has met up with the same people from LSU, and they come even though their team doesn't necessarily make it in, which I don't think they did this year. But Abby always tailgates with them. So anyway, and has done for years. Anyway, this is an adorable picture. But Travis came in, and he was going on and on about how tall the corn is down the road from our house. And it's pretty tall. It's probably as tall as I am. So it is much taller than knee high, because it's not even the 4th of July yet. And I'm short, but I'm not that short. Fabric called for is chocolate milk. Chocolate milk. Again, from Stephanie. One of my favorite colors. Looking washed out to me. It's a rich, deep, golden brown. Think light colored brown sugar. It's nice fabric. And then it has quite a few colors in it. And I did have to substitute Sassy Brass for the gold leaf because everyone's stitching on quilts I think has caused gold leaf to be back ordered, because it did not come with my order. It is what it is. Okay, so those are the colors on the fabric. It's very cute. Someone I know has already finished it. I think Nicole. Nicole has finished it. Not Buckeye Nicole, but one of my customers has already finished it. It's really cute. What else do I see? I think that's everything that I pulled colors and fabric for, but there are some other new charts that have come in. Shakespeare's Peddler Basket of Red, White, and Blue. I think she has a series of basket of things. This one obviously is the patriotic one. And let's see. Does she say what she used? Confederate Gray, which I just showed you, and Weeks Dye Works on this one. Stitching and Quilting Party, Sarah Gormani. I'm probably not pronouncing that correctly. I thought that was just adorable. Absolutely adorable. Look at that floss list. Oh, thank God it's all DMC. And then it comes with this cute little button. It is a kind of a pricey chart, but it's really cute. It's large, 278 by 265, so it's fairly decent sized piece, but really, really cute. In God We Trust, which is part 3 of the Long May She Wave series from Abby Rose. And you get the pattern for both. .32 count summer khaki is what that is stitched on. I thought this was cute for fall. Let's breeze into autumn. Barbara Anna has a new series. It'll be 3 parts. Black Cat Hollow. This is part 1. She uses something called 32 count granite linen from Zweigart. I looked at my distributors and could not find anything called granite, so I would think raw natural or something like that would work just as well on there. Sue Hillis, no, Jeanette Douglas. The monthly letters from Mom. We have September. October. And November. This one's my favorite so far. I think it's because it's got those beautiful red flowers, and those look to me like they're a satin stitch. I think that's why. Now these charts come with, I don't know, Cottage Garden Threads. It's, I believe, a thread company out of Australia. When the quilt store was 2 doors down from me, they're closed now. But they were the only distributor in the area for these threads, and they were gorgeous. But so the chart comes with a little bit of that thread, what you need to stitch this. But the entire thread list for the whole series includes all of those. But I think it's a nice touch that she included this, since it's not easy to get. And if I'm remembering correctly, a skein of this is like $6, I think. It's what they were selling them for when I checked into it. But they're really pretty. So there was that's I don't know, can you see it? I'm trying to move it over so you can see it a little better. They're very pretty, very pretty. I think they might be stapled to the chart, so it's going to be hard to see. So those are arrived. I have several people on an auto for those. I think that is everything I have for what's new in the shop segment, which leaves me with, oh, I can show you Doreen. Doreen dropped off a piece at my house for framing, because it was going to be hard for her to get to the shop. So this is with thy needle, and the name of the chart escapes me, but I can always find out what it is if you're interested. I'm sure y'all recognize it. It's not new, but it's got those cute bees. Pomegranates. Her red dress blowing in the wind. Like her little hat. It's really cute. So I'm supposed to be finding a frame to go on that. She has another piece that's actually been hanging out on my wall that she wanted to hang this one with and use the same frame, and I'm not sure that that's really the frame we want to use. So I'll have to snap a picture of it for her and another option for her and let her make that decision. So that is everything that is shop related, which leaves me with what I've been working on. And before, like I said, before I started stitching just on one piece, I worked on a couple different things. Well, I'll show you Dan's first. Again, this is a direct result of Joe. Thank you, Joe. I really appreciate you showing that video and throwing me into full-on panic mode. Just kidding. I probably needed a little shock to my system to get me back to stitching for models and not just for myself. Anyway, so as a result, we have the hands-on design series from Kathy, the White Christmas, and they are just not selling. I haven't sold any of them, and I'm on an auto, so I needed to do something. And people just didn't seem to like the color. Now, the picture makes the color look like it's orange. And the fabric is not orange, it's kind of more yellow. This is an old dye lot. It calls for straw. So that's what's called for. But I thought maybe if I changed the fabric a little bit, that maybe people would like it a little better. So I chose Winter Wishes, Opalescent Winter Wishes from Hand Dyed by Stephanie, and I assigned Dan the task of stitching the series. So he got one done so far. He's working on the second one, and I started the finishing of it. I haven't got it finished yet, but you can see this little sparkle in the fabric. We did have to add a little bit more back stitching than was called for in order to make the white show up on this fabric. But they're so small that the additional back stitching doesn't take that much time. So there's a couple differences in the chart versus in the picture of the chart versus what's charted. Specifically, if you'll see the back stitching on the bell in the tower comes to a peak, but on the chart it doesn't. Just take my word for it. On the chart it does not. But other than that, we stitched it pretty much as charted, with the exception of the extra back stitching we added. So there's that. So he's still working on Hawk Run Hollow, but he's doing a little bit of that. That only took him like 2 nights to do. He's working on the tree farm, I think, is the next one that he's working on. So he should get that done in another couple nights. So that was his finish. I had a finish. It was a piece I started for Stitch Mania. It's one that I designed. And if you follow me on Instagram, then you've probably already seen it. I call it Happy 4th of July. It's a play on words. And I ordered myself a little sheepy. So let me move him over a little bit so you can, there. Look at his sweet little face. He looks scared to death. To me, he looks scared to death. It's like my dogs in the fireworks, scared to death. The fence, let me tell you a little bit about the fence. The fence I got at Hobby Lobby. It comes with a wooden chicken attached to the front of it, and it comes with a big thick piece of jute as a hanger, so it's supposed to be a wall hanging. I knew I didn't want it to be a wall hanging, so I removed the chicken, I removed the jute, which left holes in the fence. So hence the addition of the stars. Those were just wood stars that I bought in a package in the unfinished wood section at Hobby Lobby, and I just painted them. And then Dan took a piece of old wood and put a groove in it so that for the fence to sit in, so it would just stand, because that's how I wanted it done. I used Freedom, Cayenne, and I want to say grits for the model. But after I finished it, it's like you can barely, the only place you really see any kind of over-dyed effect is on the sheep. So you could choose any 3, you know, a red, a white, and a blue that you like in a DMC, and it would be fine. What else can I tell you? I was thinking I wanted to put something up here, which is why and this is glued on. This is a metal fence, so you could use the whole Priscilla and Chelsea technique of using the magnets. All of this could be done with magnets, but I knew I wouldn't be doing that, so I just glued everything on. I wish I had moved it up a little higher. But I thought, when I glued this down, I thought I was going to try and find something that looked like fireworks to put on here, and it ended up looking not good. So I took them off, but it was too late. This was already glued on there, so keep that in mind. This chart will be available for sale through my shop after the 25th of the month. So that's my finish and my little sheep. So I worked on that. Where'd the rest of my stuff go? Oh, it's over here. So I was enabled by a couple of my customers. I had seen this piece online and I had talked myself out of it. And then I had a couple of customers come in to get fabric for it. And I couldn't resist any longer. I have no plans for starting it. I may never start it, but I had to have it. I can't tell you what the name, well, the name is Winter is Coming. The rest of it is in Russian. So it's a kit, comes with fabric and floss. I'm not sure what kind of floss. It's cotton, but I'm not sure what brand. I'm gonna guess not DMC. And it comes with Ada, so I would be swapping out the fabric. Although there's nothing wrong with the Ada, it's actually kind of a nice Ada, but with the back stitching, I'm not sure if there's any quarter stitches or anything. I would just prefer to use either an overdye or a Lugana or a linen on it. So this is one of my LOLP things, which I did not need to add, but I did. I think I've talked about On Prudence before. Plum Street, one of my favorite designs. I had it started on an even weave, I think it was 25 count, and I was going to stitch it over one. And I just wasn't liking the color of the fabric. So here we are once again kitting up things I have no right to be kitting up. I'm gonna try this to hold the fabric or the floss on there because there's a lot of them. So this is the called for fabric. These are the called for flosses in DMC. She does have it charted for the overdyes, but with the exception of that house, this is 46 count, I don't think you're going to see any variegation. So I've opted to just use the DMC color palette, except for the house, which I will use the Weeks Dye Works. And this fabric is 46 count vintage navy bean. Aren't those colors yummy? Oh, they're pretty. And I love them on the fabric. Love them, love them, love them. But I'm not going to start that either because I need to get some models done. I have worked on my Another Mania start, my colonial hair from Primitive Hair. I am doing just the bust, and I'm doing it on that fabric. So her face is coming along. You can see her eye. She's watching you. And this has been a fun stitch. I'm enjoying it. I enjoy watching the face come alive. Kind of different stitching on this fabric with the writing, because in some places you can see through, I suppose because I'm only using, this is 40 count and I'm only using one thread, but in some places, now that there's not a stitch in, but right below it, that's all stitched, but it's all the same color, but with the writing showing through it kind of looks like it's a different color. So, but I am enjoying that. Well, I was enjoying that before I decided I need to stick with just one. I had also, before making that decision to be monogamous, I had worked on Electra from Nora Corbett. And it doesn't look like a lot, although you can see right here that jack-o'-lantern. See the jack-o'-lantern right there is starting to take shape. This is 32 count Cyprium, I believe. Again, it looks washed out in this picture. It's a much richer color. Much richer color. So I worked on that a little bit. But the piece I decided to try and get done, just because I thought maybe I could get it done faster than any of the others. I'm not sure that I chose correctly, but is what it is. It's Little Brick House. This was also a Mania start. I am doing it 25 count over 1 on Vintage Country Mocha, which is the fabric that's stamped on the front and it's plain on the back. Using so far the called for colors in a combination, because she does give you, it calls for simply wool, but I'm just using the regular cotton floss, Gentle Arts cotton floss. But I'm using DMC on parts of it. I started this outside border using the garden gate like called for. And then I remembered that when I'm stretching pieces with a border and it uses an overdyed floss, it tends to give a visual, what's the word I'm looking for? It tends to make it look crooked when it's really not. It's just the variegation in the floss, so I really don't like using a variegated floss for a border. So I'm going to rip that out and just use the DMC like what I'm using on the inside. I just don't want to have to worry about an optical illusion. That's it, optical illusion. So that's that. I'd say I'm almost halfway done. I'm having trouble with the door color because it calls for trade wind, which the trade wind that I have now is a very variegated blue and brown. And I'm not seeing it. So I haven't decided what my door color will be yet, but it's probably not going to be a variegated blue and brown. It may end up being a silvery gray or pink, maybe. I don't know. I'll leave that till last probably. But and then the little flowers down in the bottom, down here. Those are supposed to be brown. What brown is it? Those are supposed to be cider mill brown. And I'm thinking I might make them the pink and the purple down there instead of the brown. I haven't decided yet, which is why there are no flowers on my vine yet. But I'm loving that checkerboard house. I am indeed. So that's the piece that I'm trying to get done first. Didn't work on it last night though, because I pulled everything to do the video and I was going to do it last night, and then it got to be 5 o'clock and I wasn't done setting up, and I knew it would be at least another hour or 2 hours, and I was tired, so I just decided I would come back in this morning and do it this morning. So I had to work on something else last night. What did I work on last night? I don't know. It escapes me. Anyway, that is everything that I have to kind of show you stitching wise. Dan and I did go to the Brass Armadillo a couple weeks ago. I needed to get some more scissor frogs. So we went, and I found a treasure. The backstory on this treasure, I brought it in along with its friends. Backstory. These are items that I had collected. I had all 3 of them, and as far as I know, these 3 colors are the only 3 colors that they were made in. And I had them in a cupboard hanging on the landing of the stairs going down to the basement. And Daniel, in his infinite wisdom, decided to carry something big and bulky down the stairs without removing that cupboard from the wall. And you can probably guess what happened. He knocked the cupboard off the wall, it tumbled down the stairs, and these items shattered because they are very thin. I don't know if you'd call it porcelain or whatever. Anyway, I was pissed. I was very pissed. I'm like, why? It would have taken you 2 seconds to lift that off the wall and set it out of harm's way, and you didn't, and so there they were, busted. So I have been trying little by little to locate them again. They're a vintage item, and yes, I could go on eBay and I could purchase them there, but that's kind of takes away the fun. The fun the first time around was just discovering them by accident. So it's taken me a couple of years to run across them again, and I finally found the 3rd color when we went to the Brass Armadillo a couple weeks ago. So unfortunately, one of them that I bought, the 3 that I had were in pristine condition. One of them is not in pristine condition, so I'll probably still be looking for it and to replace it. And then there's also salt and pepper shakers that go along with them, so I'm going to probably look for the salt and pepper shakers. But what they are, these are measuring cups. You may have seen them. But they're measuring cups. They come off and they tell you what size they are. And see this yellow pair. This yellow one has, I don't know, can you see it? It's cracked all along here. It's got a chip along here. But anyway, so there's the yellow. Suppose this section could be the what I'm all into, because I really, really love these. There's the pink. And this one is it's in good condition. It has a few manufacturing flaws in it. See, that one's the cup size. This one still has a little Menschik Goldman sticker on it. I don't think that's where it probably originally was, but that's the pink. And this one is the blue, which is my favorite. Even though I'm not a blue person, this color blue I really like. And it's in pristine condition. Well, there's a couple little chips. That's okay. And I have the salt and pepper shakers for the little blue, for the blue one. So I'm on the hunt for the yellow salt and pepper shakers and the pink salt and pepper shakers and another set of the yellow measuring cups that might be in better condition than these. So I just wanted to share that with you because I was excited when I ran across them. It was the blue that I ran across this last time. So, and they're not, you know, they're not hugely expensive. They like $40. So it doesn't break the bank when I find them. Okay, so when Darlene was here, she was telling me that she was going to have Kathleen show her how to do punch needle. And I mentioned to her that I had done a little bit of punch needle, not a ton. In fact, I'd done like one project to completion, and I had started another project. And Kathleen had a conflict the first day and wasn't able to meet up with Darlene. So I showed her my piece, and then I took out the piece I was working on, which happened to be Little House Needleworks Bee Garden. I had mistakenly ordered 3 of these because I didn't bother to click on the picture and read. I just saw, ooh, Little House, ooh, bee skep, I better order the chart, not realizing it was punch needles. So, and I don't have, well, I didn't have people who wanted punch needle patterns. So I figured I was probably stuck with those unless I went ahead and punched it and finished it off, and then maybe someone would be interested in it after seeing mine. So I was telling Darlene that story, and she said, oh, you have the Little House Bee Garden? And I said, oh, yeah, I've got it over there. So she bought one. And I showed her my first piece, which I think is a With Thy Needle and Thread. I'm not 100% sure because I did this like 2 years ago. So that was my first attempt at punch needle. And there's the back. Got a little thread on it. There's the back. And then the front. So I showed her that, and then I showed her my start on the bee garden, which is not a very good start. It goes really fast. This was maybe, I don't know, 30 minutes worth of work. And that is the beauty of punch needle, is you can get a lot of progress in 30 minutes. I did that, the piece that I finished, I did the entire thing while sitting on my front porch in the mornings before work for about 20 minutes. And then the neighborhood cut the street through all the way to the cross street. And the traffic is just constant in the mornings anymore because of school. And it's not peaceful to sit out there anymore, so I never do it. But I would like to. I'm gonna finish this. I'm gonna finish this because I think it's a cute pattern, and you know, maybe get other people interested in punch needle. So I worked on that a little bit too. And that is everything I have to show you. I feel like it was a little scattered again. I keep trying to organize myself a little bit better, but I'm just not an organized person anymore. I used to be. I'm not anymore. I wanted to do a little bit of a shout out I caught the first video from Carol Saltbox Stitcher. Her wall behind her, I just wanted to climb through the screen and sit down next to her and stare at her walls. So if you haven't caught her, check her out because it's amazing. Then there's a gal, and I can't remember her name. If I'm remembering correctly, she works at the Attic, and I think her channel name is Stash Sisters. She's interesting to listen to, so check her out. And then I've just been kind of going down the list of everyone from of the Floss tubers who will be at StitchCon, just trying to familiarize myself a little bit with. I probably won't remember your names, I'm sorry. That's not going to happen watching one or even two videos. There's just too many. But at least I will recognize, probably, maybe, I hope I would recognize your face anyway. I never like to assume that people know who I am. So I will probably introduce myself whether you know me or not, just because I don't like to make the assumption that you ever watch my channel, because you can't watch everybody. You cannot watch everybody. There's too many out there. So I will do my best to remember who you are, but don't hate me because I don't. I used to be able to remember everything, and I can't anymore. And that's just the way life is. So I think that's everything I have. So maybe I'll do the tag real quick and then go home and see if Dan's awake yet. He should be. It's 11:30. I'll go home, see if he wants to do anything before he goes to the ball game, and probably work on laundry and maybe gathering stuff that needs to go to Cincinnati. So anyway, this is the Emily C tag. Some of you have been doing it. This is going to be pretty boring because I am not an exciting individual. I don't have any real earth-shattering experiences to share with you, so I'm just going to go through it rather quickly, with a couple of exceptions maybe. So question number 1, what is your favorite cereal? Pretty boring. It's always been either Captain Crunch or Rice Krispies with bananas and sugar on it. Captain Crunch started tearing my mouth apart, so if I had to just choose one, it would have to be Rice Krispies. But it's got to have bananas, milk, and sugar. And I found it interesting that a lot of you do not eat your cereal with milk on it. I can't imagine. I suppose Captain Crunch you could munch on with, but Rice Krispies need milk. You got to have that snap, crackle, and pop, right? You can't get that without milk. So that's my cereal. Favorite pizza toppings. I'm a meat lovers person, so meat, followed by cheese, and cheese. I'm on death row. What is my last meal? That one's easy. It would be my mom's fried chicken with potatoes and gravy. She makes these little fried up flour that she's salted and peppered. We always call them Crispies or Crunchies. After she dredges the chicken in the flour that's been salted and peppered, and then she would add a little water and grab bits of the dough and dip them, or drop them into the pan and fry them up, and they're to die for. So so it would be the fried chicken, Crispies, potatoes and gravy, probably whipped black cherry jello and apple crisp, her apple crisp for dessert. So yeah, that would be my last meal. Laundry day. What are your really weird bottom of the drawer underwear? Believe it or not, I do not have any weird bottom of the drawer underwear. They're all the same underwear. But Dan, on the other hand, has some rather interesting bottom of the drawer underwear. And I can't remember if I ever told the story about my mother and him. And I will try and make it short. But many years ago, when our kids were little, we used to paint Christmas ornaments every year. Just the ceramic ones you'd buy at the time. It was like Lee Ward's, or Hobby Lobby wasn't around at that time. So we would paint these ornaments, and Dan painted a moose ornament, and he was so proud of it. And he took it over to my mom's house, and he hung it front and center on her Christmas tree. And my mother did not like that thing. She thought it was the ugliest thing she'd ever seen. So as soon as she left, she moved the sucker to the back of the tree. And next time Dan was over there, he, of course, did not see his ornament on the front of the tree. And so he went looking, found it on the back side of the tree, and moved it back to the front of the tree. And that is where their little war started. After that year, he would go out and find the ugliest moose something that he could find, and he would deploy it in her house, in her yard, on her tree, whenever he could do it without her finding out about it. And then she'd just stumble across it. So she came home one time and found a moose head wine holder on her kitchen counter, a moose soap dispenser, moose kitchen towels, a light up moose in her backyard, more ugly moose ornaments. One time at the Goodwill store, he found a moose in a canoe, and one of the antler things was broke off. He bought the damn broken moose and put it on her coffee table. So eventually, Mom decided to get even with him, to try and stop him from deploying more moose. And so for Christmas one year, she went out and she bought him this pair of underwear. It was a thong. It had little white feather trim on it and jingle bells. And she wrapped it up nicely and put it under the tree for him. And of course, he opened it up when everybody was there, and everyone started laughing, and she thought that embarrassment would stop him from buying moose. She should have known better. So after the gifts were all opened, he disappeared into the bathroom, and the next thing we know, he comes running out of the bathroom in his new little thong underwear, through the living room, out into the dining room, around through the kitchen, and then back out into the living room and into the bathroom. Now, keep in mind, we had little children in the house. Everyone's eyes were scarred for life. We will never get that image of Dan in the thong running through the house it's permanently etched on our eyeballs. And it was hilarious. It was absolutely hilarious. And the next year he went out and bought more moose stuff. So she has tried several different versions of funky underwear, thinking it would prevent him from, but it hasn't. But he has all those underwear in the bottom of his drawer, and when he runs out, he does wear them. I don't think he's ever wore the jingle bell ones, though, because they would make noise when he walked. But some of the other ones that she has purchased for him, and there's some doozies, they're in there. So it's It's not my underwear drawer, but his underwear drawer is more interesting. Who would play you in a movie about your life? I'm going to say, first of all, there'd never be a movie about my life because there's nothing to make a movie of. But I'd say Kathy Bates. I don't know why, but that's just who I'd say. What food items do you sneak into the movie theater in your purse or man bag? I haven't been to a movie theater in years. I have honestly never snuck anything into the movie theater. Catholic guilt doesn't allow me to do it. Perfect vacation. My perfect vacation would probably be sitting on a private beach somewhere, watching the waves hit the shore and doing absolutely nothing but reading and stitching. I don't want to run around sightseeing. I think, while I would love to see the sights of the world, I don't want to go on vacation and come home more tired than what I was when I left. I want to go and relax and do nothing. I don't want to cook. I don't want to clean. I don't want to see people. I just want to sit on the shore, on the shore, watch the waves hit the sand, and read and maybe listen to a little music and cross stitch. Just me and Dan. That's it. Boring. I told you, boring. I'm stuck on a deserted island and I can have 5 things. What do I have? Some of you are cheating. A fully decked out tiny house is not something you can be, that does not count as one item. You're cheating. So, I would probably have Dan, my dog, some matches, probably a Heaven and Earth design, a kitted up Heaven and Earth design. That's sort of kind of cheating though. And I don't know what the 5th item would be. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the 5th item would be. If I could have a reproduction style chart with any theme possible, what would the theme be? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I don't have an answer for that one. Strangest travel experience. Bonus points if you ever spent time in a foreign jail. I don't travel. I go to market. That's about it. I don't travel, so I've never had a strange travel experience. What am I saving money for right now? Well, I don't know that I'm actually succeeding in saving money. I would like to save money for retirement. At some point, that is going to happen sooner, probably, rather than later, being as, you know, we're reaching that age. So I should be saving for retirement, but saving money is just not an easy thing to do. We're getting a new deck this summer, so any money we had in savings will go towards that deck, but we still needed to take out a loan for it. So there's that. What craft would you like to try or get better at? I don't know. Well, it is a craft, maybe. You know, they have those die cutting machines, the Silhouette and the Cricut. And I have a Silhouette, brand new, in the box. Bought it almost 3 years ago. I would like to learn how to use that and make stuff with it. But it's not just one crafty thing. It would be a lot of different things that I would make with it. I have no desire to knit. I have no desire to crochet. I've scrapbooked before. My skills there are fine. So it would be learning how to use the silhouette and then making things with that. If I had to stitch only 3 designers for the rest of my life, who would I choose? That's a very good question. And I thought about it, and I thought about what I have in my stash, and I'd probably have to say, with a needle and thread, Plum Street Sampler, and then probably Long Dog. I think they all 3 have a large library of designs, and many of them are on my I Want to Stitch You list, and many of them are already in my stash, so I would probably be set with those 3. And they would give me a wide variety, because there's cutesy ones, there's samplery ones, there's primitive ones. So I think no matter what, and your taste changes over the years, so no matter what direction my taste went, I'd probably be covered. So yeah. The dumbest way you have ever been injured. I've not ever been, never broken a bone. I've never been injured, really. I did tear my Achilles tendon just walking every day. So I suppose that would be it. Not a surgery I want to do again. So yeah, because otherwise I really haven't had any serious injuries. Worst roommate or housemate story. Okay, so here's the thing. I've only ever had one roommate, aside from Dan. It was my college roommate. And probably the worst story I can tell about that, what happened the first week of college. I went to a school where my brother and sister already were attending. So I had been up there to visit them. I already knew a lot of people. A lot of them were male because of my brother, and I'd already met Dan. So I knew all of his friends too. And so my roommate was from a very small town in Nebraska, and I was her worst nightmare. She came into the room, and I had laying on the bed, I call it my Billy Jack hat. And it was a hat that summer before college, we'd gone to the drive-in. My sister and a couple of our friends had gone to the drive-in, and there was a car full of guys next to us. And somehow or other, one of them ended up in our car, and he had this black Billy Jack hat that got left behind in our car. So I deliced it. I don't know if he had lice, but he might have, and so I made sure it was clean before I wore it. But I liked the hat, so it went to school with me, and it was laying on my bed when she entered the room, and I was not there when she showed up. And that was her first, she said that was her first impression, was that she was going to be rooming with a wannabe cowgirl. And then all these guys kept coming and knocking at the door, again, because they were my brother's friends, and Dan, and they were just making sure that I had everything I needed. And she took it the wrong way and thought I was, as my dad would call it, Free Marie. He always called loose women Free Marie, because apparently someone he knew when he was growing up, her name was Marie, and everyone called her Free Marie because she slept with everybody. Anyway, she thought she was rooming with Free Marie, hated me on sight, and went home. She left college the first week and went home, running home. She was done. She was leaving school. Her mother made her come back. The dorm at the time, they had I want to call it like a team building thing, but it was a get to know your roommate better thing, and it was a booklet you had to go through. And so we had to sit down together and answer these questions, kind of like this. We had to answer the questions and learn a little bit more about each other. And in the process, she found out that these were not guys I was dating. They were just friends checking up on me. The hat wasn't really mine. I did not want to be a cowgirl. Well, I kind of did, but that wasn't what the hat was all about. And so we ended up being very good friends. So that was that. You know, that's my worst roommate story. Question 16. You have unlimited income. What does your dream house look like? Insert a picture if possible. Well, we all know I don't know how to insert pictures, so you'll have to use your imagination. My dream house has changed over the years. It used to be a big old 2-story farmhouse with a big porch on the front. I'm older now. 2 stories, not real practical. The stairs are starting to be a problem. So I think it's more a ranch-style house now. I would still like the big old porch, because I love a porch swing. I want a large kitchen. Right now I have a one-butt kitchen, and it seems like everybody wants to hang out in the kitchen when I'm cooking, and there is no room, literally, in my kitchen for anyone but myself. So I would like a large kitchen open to the living area, which mine is open to the living area, but it still seems like everyone wants to be in the kitchen. Like in the kitchen, not even in the eating part of the kitchen, but in the kitchen. Walk-in, master on the main. So it could be a 2-story as long as there was a master on the main and I never had to go upstairs. I'd be fine too. I'm not so married to that. But I want large rooms. I don't want to feel crowded. It has to have a craft room. I would like it to have at least 3 garages. Currently we have a 2-car garage and my car has never been in it. Dan has the garage filled with junk. He says it's my junk. I say it's his junk. But you can't get a car in it. So I would like at least a 3-car garage. So maybe, oh, who am I kidding? He'd just fill it up. So, but 3-car garage would be nice. A pool. I would love to have a pool. Since walking is not really an option due to the Achilles tendon, a pool would be nice for exercise, because I would like to exercise. I used to walk a lot. And let's see. Oh, and I don't really want close neighbors. I don't mind neighbors, but I don't want them so close that I can hear them burp if they're in their kitchen, which currently we have The way our house is situated and the way the neighbor's house is situated, you can almost shake hands across the gap between our two decks. We have had some interesting occurrences with having neighbors that close. I have told all of the neighbors that have moved in that due to the way the house is situated, it seems like every noise made is amplified and it comes right through the bedroom window. So at one point we had neighbors in the house that were young men, and I did warn them. I said, my bedroom looks right down onto your deck. If you burp in your kitchen, I don't think I used the word burp, I think I said fart. If you fart in your kitchen, I'm going to hear it. And I don't want to hear your business. But I also am not going to close my windows just because, you know, I like to sleep with my windows open in the spring when it's nice enough to do so. And I don't think I should have to close them just so you can be loud and noisy and have a party until 2 a.m. So they said, yeah. Well, they didn't believe me. So one night, I was awakened by what I thought at first was a cat dying. I could hear this noise, and it took me a while to figure out it was indeed not a cat dying. It was someone on their deck having sex. If you're offended easily, you probably want to shut this off now. Having sex. And she was moaning a lot. It was about midnight. She continued to moan nonstop till almost 2. Dan came to bed about 1, and we both laid there and like, well, we could shut the window. They'd hear that if we shut the window. But we were kind of tired. I had to work the next morning. She kept moaning and moaning and moaning. Okay. I did not know you could go that long without, you know, an orgasm. But she just kept going and going and going. And I finally told Dan, I said, Dan, I got to be up in a couple of hours. Do something. So Dan, being Dan, got up, went over to the window, and he yelled out the window, "Could you make her come already so the rest of us can get some sleep?" And there was dead silence. Nothing. Nothing. For about 30 seconds. And then all of a sudden you heard their deck door opened and closed, and in they went. And as far as I know, she never did get her orgasm. But geez, honestly, honest to Pete did not know you could go that long. So that is my dream house, is large rooms, big bathroom, no close neighbors that I have to hear have sex, and a pool. There you go. Let's see. What song would you want played or sang at your funeral or memorial? I don't want a funeral, don't want a memorial. Have a party, play what you want. I would like to be cremated and have the ashes spread over the sandhills of Nebraska. That is my happy place. It's where my soul gets renewed, and so I don't really have a particular song I would like played. I do like that one, I don't know, Spirit in the Sky. That's kind of a catchy one. Favorite board game or card game? I'm not real big on on board games or card games. Adam and Amy love Monopoly, and Amy has bought him, almost every version of Monopoly ever made, except for she never could get her hands on the Harry Potter version. And now they're so expensive you can't touch them with a 10-foot pole, but they absolutely love to play Monopoly. About the only game I play anymore, now that the kids are grown, and this may change now that we have grandkids, I like Mexican train dominoes. Sequence, I don't mind Sequence. If you've not ever played that, it's kind of a fun game. So that would be that. Jigsaw puzzles, that's not really a game, but jigsaw puzzle, I enjoy doing those. First celebrity crush, well, that one's easy. Donny Osmond, followed closely by Sean Cassidy. And if Donny Osmond walked through that door right now, I'd still be crushing on him, because he is still a good-looking man. I think Sean Cassidy got a little weird as he aged. But I did have a big thing for him, and he was my first concert, was Sean Cassidy. Question 20, and the last question. If you could capture a smell in a candle or perfume, what would that smell be? That would be horse barn with a side of leather saddle. One of my favorite smells in the world, walking into a horse barn. I know it's not probably a smell that a lot of people would like, but I miss my horses, and I miss that smell. So, not that I would want my house to smell that way, but just, take the lid off and it would take me back to the horse barn. So, that's what I would like. And with that is the end of the questions. I don't really have anything else to talk about, and this is long enough the way it is. So, have a great rest of your weekend. I will not be back until after StitchCon, probably. I'm looking forward to meeting everybody. Very nervous. I'm going to put that out there. I am extremely nervous. I think that's why I've had a headache for a week. The closer it gets, the worse the headache gets. I'll be fine once I get there, though. It's traveling. I'm not, as I said, I'm not a traveler. You don't probably want to be around me the week before I go anywhere, because it's not pretty. Not at all pretty. So anyway, thank you again. If you've stuck around this long, thanks. Appreciate it. I'm going to take my computer with me. I'm hoping someone can show me how to edit, maybe insert a picture. I still have Abby's wedding photos I'd like to show you. But for now, this is it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for being so kind. If you're just someone that watches and have been thinking about making a video, go for it. If I can do it, you can do it. And we will see you next time. Take care.